Posted by u/complexwing7114. Throwaway account, as my husband and in-laws follow my main. I, 29F, have been married to my husband, 30M, who I'll call Alex. Alex and I met in college during our freshman year. We started off as just friends and got married 7 months ago. I've gotten along with his family, but we aren't super close. However, we're friendly enough. The problem is that Alex has begun to make me incredibly uncomfortable. Firstly, he's begun to ask me who I'm meeting with, where, what we plan on doing, and how long I'll be gone every single time I leave the house without him. At first, I just thought he was being protective and a good partner, just in case something happened, but then he started checking my phone after the visits, vetting, and researching each of my friends as well. He has also been pressuring me to link my bank account to his, as he's in charge of the finances, even though he was perfectly fine with keeping them separate before. We fight about it almost every day. Finally, yesterday, when he was preparing to go on a work trip for 2 weeks in California, he demanded that I wear a tracker so he could keep an eye on me while he's gone. I can't do this anymore. I feel like I'm suffocating, and his family, who I've spoken to about his worrying behavior, just said he's being careful and protective, as a good husband should. I need to gather my things and find a way to be gone before he gets home without tipping him off. He's always threatened that if he ever found me cheating on him, he'd turn in divorce papers the same day. He keeps a filled-out copy in his desk. I'm going to submit those the day I leave. But there's so much to do, like finding a new place to live, seeing if my job has any transfers available, and packing and moving in 2 weeks. His return flight is May 11th, so I need to move quickly. I'm posting here because I don't have any close family, and I can't risk dragging my friends into this since we share the same friends. I just needed a place to vent and ask if anyone has any advice on the easiest and safest way to do this. Edit. Oh my god, you guys are amazing. I never even thought about not using his divorce papers. I'll check for cameras before I start any packing or prepping. I may also shred his divorce papers just in case and look into getting a lawyer for myself. I'm in a no-fault divorce state, that much I do remember, which will help. I'll update again when I know more. The tracker he wants me to use is a small clip to put on a belt or waistband. I'll wear it unless I'm going or doing something related to me leaving. No pets yet, thankfully. Update 1 day later. I've gotten a lot of support and helpful advice, along with questions that I thought I should clarify before proceeding with the update. Some ask why I'd be hiding things from Alex regarding going out and who I'm meeting with. I'm not, and I have nothing to hide. However, when he begins to double-check everything I tell him with the other people there, right down to each person I talked to and what I said, did I send any text messages, did I order food, how much did I eat, that's when it started to feel like I was slowly being pushed into a corner. It didn't start out that bad, but gradually grew worse over time. All of the Reddit subs my in-laws' families are part of are related to gardening and DIY, so I highly doubt they'll see this. If they do, hopefully, I'll be gone by then. I talked to my job and explained things to my manager, and they promised to look into openings in other states to see if they could get me into one. They'll have an update on that in 3 days. I trust that my bank account is secure, considering he's tried to get into it before and failed. I found one camera in the kitchen, another in the living room, and one in our bedroom. As such, I've left them in place for now and have done all other planning in the bathroom, pretending I'm taking a bath. I'm honestly staying away from the domestic violence services since, unfortunately, my sister-in-law is higher up there, as she volunteers, and I have a feeling that if I showed up, they would know in a heartbeat. I can't look for apartments until I get the update from my work, but either way, I'm still going to be leaving the state. The day before I go, I will be changing my phone carrier and wiping my laptop and all of his electronics before I leave. I've met with 2 lawyers so far and had them look over the paperwork my husband had prepared, and both said it had some clauses that could have caused me trouble down the line. What alarmed all of us was the fact that several of those clauses dealt with future children, and not as a hypothetical. Like several here suggested, I have a feeling he fully intended on getting me pregnant to keep me trapped and tied to him. There are 3 other locations my job could send me to, and I have, as a precaution, begun looking into all 3 cities and housing in those areas, just in case one of them is where they send me. Even if they don't have an opening to push me into, I will just have to quit, move, and figure things out on my own. I have enough money to live and survive for a few months until I can pick up another job. Unfortunately, all of our friends are mutual, and they would likely be unaware of the consequences of saying or sharing anything I do or say with my husband. I don't have any surviving close family, and obviously, my in-laws are not a reliable resource. I am on my own, unfortunately, aside from the wonderful bonds I've begun to make here. I will update again if I get more information or if something else happens. Otherwise, I'll update when my work gets back to me. I do plan on leaving before he returns, though, just to make sure I'm not anywhere near here at that time. Second update 2 days later. Good news, my work has an opening I qualify for that will not only move me across the country but also comes with a salary increase. I've started telling my in-laws and friends that I'm planning a surprise outing for just the 2 of us when my husband gets back. This way, people won't give me odd looks if they see me out and about. I've even gone as far as asking my mother-in-law to show me his favorite recipes. Meanwhile, I found a moving company that, while small, is willing to work during a storm. The reason is that in 5 days, we're supposed to get hit with a large storm front. I plan to shut off the breaker and say we lost power if he asks, just as several people here suggested, and even send him a short clip of the storm. I will have all of my stuff moved that afternoon, and I will be flying out once the weather has cleared enough to do so. I have a lawyer who will push my divorce through, and I filled out the necessary paperwork so that I don't have to be here for it. I'm not suing for assets or alimony, and I've shredded his divorce papers as well. I've set up a cheap payphone plan through Cricket until this is all said and done, at which point I will find a new carrier, number, and phone. This one is being wiped and left behind. My laptop is provided by my work, and the IT department inspected it thoroughly. It was clean, thankfully. No other electronics aside from my laptop. New phone will be coming with me. If Alex needs to talk to me, he can do it through my lawyer. I'm hoping nothing seems amiss to him until after I leave, and I'm not turning the breaker back on when I go. He can do that when he gets home. My work is covering the plane ticket, so at least that's one expense I don't have to worry about. Third update 1 week later. It's been a busy week, but I've gotten so much done. Firstly, I am now out of the house and staying in a hotel while I look for an apartment. It's a big city, bustling with people no matter where you look. A pretty bad storm system hit back home that actually lasted 2 days, high winds, thunder, lightning, and even hail everywhere. I didn't take much from the house, just my documents, clothes, and important sentimental items. I left all the furniture and electronics behind. I cleaned the house top to bottom and took pictures on my phone so he can't claim I damaged anything when I left. My lawyer has already started divorce proceedings, and my husband will be served on the 8th. His plane is due to land early in the morning, and the sheriff will be at the house waiting for him. He is very much concerned about public appearances and reputation. My lawyer will also call him to inform him that I am more than willing to expose everything about his actions publicly if that's what it takes to secure my freedom from him. I will go to court as long as necessary to get this pushed through. I haven't told our friends or his in-laws yet. I plan to do that while he's on the flight to prevent him from getting wind of it before he's handed the divorce papers. I will be calling around and explaining why we're getting divorced to try and prevent him from twisting this into somehow being my fault. I don't want him to claim I had an affair or something, so I want to get the truth out before he has a chance to twist it. I'm doing okay. I'm tired, but I feel almost jittery and off-kilter. I keep looking over my shoulder and monitoring what I say, even when I don't really need to anymore. Hopefully, that will fade soon. My work is covering the cost of the hotel, and I'm working on getting my other things in order. I also need to find a new general practitioner, as I want to get a full checkup just to make sure everything is okay. I don't know when my next update will be, probably when the divorce papers are filed or if we have to go to court to push them through. I'll try to keep my head up, but it feels like I'm in a whirlwind with so many things to do and think about. I kind of thought it would be easier once I got out of the house, but while the fear is smaller, the number of tasks seems to have only grown. Fourth update 1 week later. Sorry I haven't updated in a while, things got hectic and a bit chaotic. Firstly, I'm still working on getting an apartment and have applications in at 3 different places, so hopefully I'll hear back soon. I'm still going into work at the new location, so I don't have to worry about burning through my emergency savings completely. I've gotten a lot of emails from Alex, his family, and our old friend group, asking question after question. I've only sent one email back to Alex, explaining that I don't believe we are truly compatible and that it's best we separate now. I also told him that his treatment of me, when I'd done nothing to deserve it, was just as much of a deal breaker as cheating would be for him. I ended the email with a statement that I would not be contacting him further and that anything else he needed to pass on to me, or vice versa, would be done through my lawyer. For his family and friends, I typed up one email outlining everything that had happened and why I left. I told them I wished them no ill will, but that such treatment of a wife and partner was not acceptable. I also said that if Alex gets remarried in the future, I hope they will help support both partners, not just Alex. According to my lawyer, Alex was livid when he was served. The sheriff ended up booking him for assault on an officer and menacing, due to the threats he was shouting. His father bailed him out a few hours later, but with the sheriff's testimony, my lawyer believes I have a very good chance of getting a restraining order. Upon returning to the house, Alex apparently lost his temper again. He broke the dining table into pieces, destroyed the TV, and put several holes in the walls. At least, that's what one of our friends reported in an email, as Alex called him to help clean up the mess. My lawyer already has the pictures I took of the house, with timestamps as evidence that nothing had been damaged by me. My friend reported that Alex tried to claim I had trashed the house, but the holes in the wall were at head height. Alex is 6 feet 3 inches, and I'm 5 feet 4 inches, so my friend knew that was false. Either way, taking those pictures will definitely help me, So thank you again to everyone here for the advice, because I never would have thought of that on my own. My work won't share any details of where I am, as I work with some high-end clientele who value security, and that information won't be gossiped about. And no, I'm not some adult entertainment worker. I deal with contracts, notary services, and business management. So even if Alex tried to use my work to find me, he wouldn't succeed. Fifth update 2 weeks later. It's been a little bit, and I thought I'd answer some questions before giving my update. It may be a while before things change again. Firstly, no, I didn't bring my car. The public transport here is good enough that I don't need one. I have secured an apartment, and the building has good security. You need a key card to enter, and there is a security guard at a desk right by the entrance. As part of my contract, I provided them with a photo of Alex and his family, so even in the off chance they do find me, they won't be allowed in. The responses I received from the emails varied. His family said I was overreacting and that I owe Alex an apology for the problems this has caused him. They mentioned that the pending criminal charges put him at risk of losing his job if he's convicted. Alex sent a long email apologizing and pleading for me to come home. He said he was worried about me and is willing to go to therapy if it will appease me. He wants us to stay together and didn't think leaving was an appropriate response to his genuine concern and worry for my health and safety. The replies from our friends were somewhat lacking. They said they didn't think Alex was ever going to hurt me and that I shouldn't let my imagination run wild. As much as I'd like to say I was surprised by the lack of support, I'm honestly not. He intends to fight the divorce, but I am letting my lawyer handle it. I am also pursuing a protective order. Once I was approved for my apartment, I froze my credit, changed my phone carrier and number, and made sure that none of my documents list Alex as my next of kin or power of attorney. Some have asked why I was so paranoid about Alex and his possible future actions. The answer to that is actually somewhat simple: my grandmother. I love that woman to bits. As a teen, she explained why my grandfather was never around. He was extremely abusive and manipulative, and in her generation, divorce wasn't really an option. She wouldn't have been able to buy a house or get a good enough job to support herself and my mother on her own. As such, she endured it, shielding my mom as best she could until my grandfather died. When I felt like I might have been overreacting, I remembered how she always said she wished she could have seen my grandfather for what he was early on, when she might have been able to annul the marriage. I don't know when I'll update again, maybe when the divorce goes through or if something big happens, but until then, I'm just trying to keep my head above water. Sixth update 1 month later. It's been a month since my previous update, and I wanted to share what's been going on in the meantime. The divorce is proceeding, but since I don't need Alex to agree, and he isn't, it means I have to go through the courts to get it approved. As a result, it could take up to 6 months to push it through, even though I'm not claiming property, alimony, or compensation. I just want a clean break and separation. Alex has attempted to use our friends to reach out to me, as he doesn't want to communicate through my lawyer. He claims it's disrespectful and cowardly to hide behind my lawyer, and not meet him face to face. Alex did write me a letter, which he passed to my lawyer, but its contents were him justifying his actions. He claimed that in today's world, it's dangerous for women to be on their own, which is why he was so intent on keeping me safe from harm. He wanted me to understand that he was trying to protect me as best he could and expressed hurt that I would lie to him and hide my dissatisfaction with our marriage and my plans to leave. I didn't reply, because at no point did he apologize. All he did was turn everything around on me, claiming I was being overly dramatic, emotional, and cowardly. There was also a second letter from my sister-in-law. Her letter was honestly disturbing and completely justified my misgivings about approaching her in any professional capacity. She spent 5 paragraphs detailing what a real abusive relationship looks like and insisted that Alex was the furthest thing from abusive. The details she included were all related to financial and physical abuse, nothing like what Alex had been doing. She even stated that my attempts to smear her brother's name for attention and clout made me the abuser, not him. I haven't really been able to process that, admittedly. Part of me can't help but wonder if she's right. I mean, I blindsided him by leaving the way I did and have refused to speak with him at all. My old boss recommended that I look into therapy after I moved, and I think I need to. I've had a hard time adjusting to being on my own. I keep censoring myself and haven't even gone out to eat yet. I always end up worrying, what if someone sees me? What if I get in trouble for spending my money on something frivolous? My lawyer is continuing to push for the divorce, and I shouldn't need to be physically present in court. Any necessary meetings with the judge can be done via Zoom. I'm trying to avoid confrontation with Alex and his family as much as possible, and I've passed both letters to my lawyer in case he needs them. Most of our friends are still trying to avoid taking sides, and honestly, I'm reaching the point of just letting them go as well. I'm tired of trying to get them to understand at this point. I don't know if anything significant is going to happen, so my next update may not be until around mid-November, depending on how long it takes to finalize the divorce. Work is going well, and having something familiar to anchor my day-to-day life has been helpful when so much has changed, and is still changing. 7th update 4 months later. It's been a while since I last updated, as I needed to let the court step in since Alex wasn't willing to grant my request for a divorce. We started with mediated sessions via Zoom, but after 4 sessions, it was decided that no compromise could be reached between us. The things Alex was pushing for were ones I'm not even willing to humor, let alone agree to. He wanted me to tell our friends, and those I had informed about his actions, that I'd made it all up to gain sympathy. He also wanted me to pay him for defamation and suffering, including the wages he lost for sitting in jail for 2 days and missing work before being bailed out. Lastly, he wanted me to return and, to quote him, stop my foolish behavior and act like a proper wife and partner. Yeah, no. So, needless to say, our mediated sessions went absolutely nowhere. Thankfully, the judge doesn't seem to be buying into Alex's act, even though he certainly tried. It took me far too long to see Alex for who he really was, and part of me feels like an idiot for not seeing it sooner. But the judge seemed to clock him for exactly what he is within the first meeting. Maybe I just didn't want to see it. I don't know. Alex ended up arguing with the judge a lot, even being held in contempt 4 different times. I think that's honestly why this moved as quickly as it did. It didn't help that Alex tried to bring in his family as character witnesses, but they were dismissed by the judge, who said that the abuse wasn't seen or heard by them, and as such, they only knew part of Alex's character. In his closing statement after approving the divorce, the judge went on to call Alex a narcissist and said that if Alex loved himself so much that he abused the one he'd married, he should just let the divorce happen and marry a mirror instead. I didn't think a judge was allowed to say something like that at all, but my lawyer just shook his head and told me not to say anything, so we left. Here's the update I'm sure everyone's been hoping for and probably guessed: I'm officially divorced. The documents were processed 3 days ago, and I'm still in disbelief. I have no contact with Alex anymore, nor do I want any. I've also decided not to give our friends my new contact information. While I may not have replied to everyone, I did read all of your comments, and your repeated reminders that they weren't actually friends really helped me see that. Since I've moved far from that place, I decided to start over: new home, new place, new friends. It's been a slow process, but I've started therapy, though it took almost 3 months to get in due to the usual wait times. I've been going 3 times a week ever since, and it's helping, even with things I thought I'd already worked through. Alex didn't take the divorce well, according to my lawyer, who's been keeping tabs on him to make sure he stays away from me. Apparently, something happened at his job, though I don't know what exactly, as I have no way to get that information, but whatever it was, it cost him his job. My lawyer also did something I didn't expect, but I think everyone will appreciate. He took the letter my ex-sister-in-law sent me and forwarded it to the domestic violence organization she works for, along with a formal statement about Alex, his actions, and the judge's decision. She's been let go as well. Given how closely those organizations work with one another, my lawyer said her chances of getting another position at a similar organization are slim to none. I actually laughed, though I got a bit teary, when he said that and added, "Slim is on a leaky rowboat to China." I've been crying a lot lately, but my therapist says it's normal and shows I'm actually processing things instead of bottling them up and pushing them down. I'll try to update in a month or so, if my emotions level out somewhat, to explain a few more of the details, but I wanted to get this out there and thank everyone for their continued support and encouragement. I appreciate each and every one of you, I really do. You gave me the hope that leaving him wasn't going to be this giant black mark I'd never heal from or move on from. Work is going well, and the sense of normality and routine is helping me avoid feeling like everything has been spiraling out of control.